Hello, hello, hello. It says I am live and I was not even ready. Even though the countdown has been going on since. Hello, everyone. I'm Tope Fajingbesi and I am delighted to welcome you to another episode of She-EOs on Air, where I will be tackling important topics, difficult topics, but very engaging conversations with some of my fellow She-EO members. And today's topic is very deep, very, very deep. We're talking about the broken roads in love. And I know love can come in many forms and it can come in so many shapes other than romantic relationships. But today, we're going to spend a lot of time on the romantic relationships and essentially talking about, the things that we don't talk about more, which we should. The broken roads in love. Can those roads be mended? Can those roads be repaired, or are there roads that just divides the thing into two and everybody just goes their separate ways? Our guests will be vulnerable, they'll be authentic, and they will be very, 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 very truthful today. They're going to be on the hot seats. I look forward to it. But before we go on, I want to ask you to please invite a friend, put it on your status. People can join us at thesheo.org/live. And I'm going to put it in the comments, thesheo.org/live. So tell your friends to tell their friends to join us on this important episode, thesheo.org/live. If you also have access to YouTube, you can join us on She-EO's YouTube page. It promises to be a very, very, very interesting episode. In case you don't know this, I'm in my second marriage. So I know definitely there are roads that are that are broken and you can't come back from. And I also know now, with the benefit of experience, that there are some roads that are broken and you just keep riding those roads, and like they're like Nigerian pothole roads, or Baltimore. Let me know you have Nigeria. Let me go to Baltimore. They're like Baltimore pothole roads, and you ride them knowing that in the near future you're going to get to smoother part. What are those things for you? If you want to share your experience, please join us. Put it in the chat box. Let us know what those roads are that you've been able to navigate, and the roads that you were like, nope, I have to make a U-turn and go past somewhere else. And if you have any questions for my guests and my co-hosts today, please make sure you put it in the chat. If you want to ask anonymously, you can send it to us at EA at thesheo.org. I'm going to put that also in the chat. If you have any questions that you want to ask anonymously, you can send it and then we will definitely bring on air. So please, without much ado, I'm going to bring on my friend and fellow She-EO member. She's a physician and she's also been a fellow traveler on this She-EO journey since maybe 2022. I can't even remember, but I think she was one of the like older She-EO members. So we've been on this journey for a while. And of course, she's also on the road of love. So please allow me to introduce you to Dr. Bilikis Oladimeji. Bilikis, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you again this time. I'm really
Thank you.
excited for the conversation.
Thank you. So first of all, when I was thinking about this yesterday, I said, I'm going to ask you not about your own journey, but about any journey that you had seen before you got married that kind of impacted you, whether negatively or positively. What was that relationship that you had seen and you were like, you know what, this is what I aspire to this is the kind of road I want to travel on, or this is like, nope, no. Was there anything like that for you?
I can't even say that I had one that I aspired to specifically, but there were a few that I learned from and that gave me an outlook into what love could be and how, marriages could look, what marriages could look like, or what even dating and, the whole process of courting could look like. So I had a few of those to look into. As many, who know me knows, my mom and my dad divorced when I was 6. It took me a long time to really figure like how does this come about? Why would this happen? And again, there's no way I talk about my story without talking about my late mom. She was very open with a lot of conversations, and she's one of those people who would come down to your level, even if you're a kid, to explain certain things to you in a way that doesn't, color your view about life. So there's a lot that I learned about our relationship with my dad and what eventually led to their divorce. Again, it took me a long time. She would hold some things back until later on, and so on and so forth. So there is that relationship. There was also like the relationship of my neighbors
Hmm.
who and for those who again might not know, I grew up in a very like a rural part of Lagos. So you had the front row seat in some ways to to different, to different lives. So
I'm laughing because
ha
I think you've explained this to me before, and I
yes,
cannot wait for people to hear you talk about this
ah
and the bridges
they
of
will,
impact from it in Lagos.
they will,
Just in case, they will hear it.
ah.
In like you know, there's a story that is for you. And that story, every time I'm making the agenda for
so,
bridges
so
of impact, I'm like, this bridges.
yeah, yeah,
I'm doing it and laugh as much as I laugh,
yeah.
and cry as much as I cry.
I grew up in Ishaga, and it's like you come out of your room. I told you again. I've been very open with this. I even share some of this with people that I mentor and you know have discussions with. I grew up in a. It's not face me and slap you like people would typically say. It's come out of your house, but then your room is like next to another person's room, which is adjacent to another person's room, and then everyone is just kind of living in this whole barrack looking area. And so I had different people, and it's so interesting what the variations of life could look like. We had a Calabar couple where the husband was the most doting human I've ever known. Unfortunately, both of them died like a few maybe weeks apart, because it's just, and I could also see why that could be, because it's like one of them cannot live without the other. That was the type of love that they shared. The husband was the one that would do everything in the house. It literally doted on this woman every single day. She would sit there. He would, they would sit and be chatting. The difference of the husband is the one cooking, the wife is sitting down, and they're just gisting and just talking and having fun. I saw that, but I also saw relationships where the husband is like, I my way or the highway. The woman cannot do anything without the husband's approval. The wife cannot do anything unless the husband, even up to buying pads for a period, she has to wait for her husband to come back. All of those types of things, and I'm like, this just does not make any sense in terms of what a relationship could look like.
You just reminded me
Yeah.
of something now. You just reminded me of something that I think when I was preparing for this, I did not even think about. But there was one woman, and if any of our children is listening right now, they will probably know I'm talking about their mom. But there was one woman whose husband used to come play. I don't know what IO is in English
Mhm,
with
mhm.
my dad
It's a
in
ball.
our own compound, and this woman, she would send her kids to come ask her husband for money for Maggie,
Anything.
for money for permission to do this, for money for like she worked.
Yeah.
And I don't like now I'm thinking back as you're talking, I'm thinking back, what did she do with her money? But I don't know, maybe the guy took her money, or maybe her money was not enough or was doing something else. But she asked for the littlest amounts of
Out of.
money. And and I think, what I understood that to be when I was young was her
Mm.
agency. Like she didn't have the agency to do
Yes,
anything.
that is
You know,
correct.
like I just felt like, no, I don't know if
How
I want
how
to buy
like
my
how
I'm going
is
to
it?
buy my I don't.
My question is always like, how is that even something? And to your point, like, this would be the most industrious women there are many flavors of them. Honestly, there's one that doesn't work at all. There was one that works. I don't know if they just put the money inside a pot that it's the husband that just is the
Managing the
lord
ports.
over all of the, yeah. So I think that might also be some of the reasons. So there were just many different angles to that. And again, just being there and seeing all of these different pieces. There's another neighbor who I really appreciated as well. They lived a little farther away. They are Igbos, and he was well established before he got married, and he would take care of his family. The wife was able to do what she wanted to do as well. There was just multiple different flavors of it, but like everything else, there is a difference between you being in the front row seat to someone else's experience. Sometimes you need to actually be in the house with them to actually know the dynamics of what is going on. So that
Amen.
was something that I knew very early on, that things can look very rosy and shiny and beautiful on the outside, but
Yeah.
what happens on the inside, and that didn't even prepare me for what I had to go through in my own home.
And
So
honestly,
funny.
I'm hoping that we'll share some of this stuff
Yeah, yeah.
when we bring in our guests. But that's the last thing you said is something that really stuck with me, because if you look at my first marriage, people would say, Tope, she was just really rude. She was just really outspoken. She just traveled a lot. She just, didn't do this. She didn't do that. But well, two people have their faults. But as far as I'm concerned, that was not the issue. That was not even close to the issue. Like, sometimes the villain doesn't look like the villain.
That's
Sometimes
right.
the hero doesn't look like the hero.
That is
And
right.
until you are in that relationship, in those dynamics, before you really know what the situation is. But at this point, I want to bring in two of our sisters. And they're about to get on the hot seat, but they don't even have any idea yet. They don't even know. This is about to get hot. It's about to get hot. Please welcome my She-EOs sisters, Kike, Adisa, and Linda Barrow. First of all, Kike, I want to say that I think I met Kike's husband before I met Kike. Yes. It was interesting. I think I met your husband before I met you. But Kike, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
You're
Wait, why
mute.
can't we hear you? Okay.
Sorry.
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Kike Adisa, and I'm an advocate for maternal health and child health. I have three children. I'm married with three children. So I think in a short word, so that's me.
So you definitely we're going to hear the roads. But
Oh, yeah.
Linda, who I also knew your twin before you. Linda.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Linda Barrow, and I am a mom with three beautiful, lovely kids. They're all teenagers now, so they keep me busy. It's been a beautiful journey. um, I'm a finance professional. I've worked, for 2 decades in the financial services industry, and I am a mentor, a girl advocate. I love to talk to girls, help them build themselves up, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So before we start even discuss, we're going to put you people on the quiz level.
Ah,
Yes. So Joy, we're ready for your questions. Please give us the first question, and we're going to because you're also participating in the quiz.
The
You
fear of joy is the beginning of wisdom.
wisdom.
so the first question, which we are waiting for the question to come, is going to be going to you, Bilkis. And if you want, you can phone a friend. You can tell someone to put the answer in the chat box for you. No
Hey,
problem at all. Joy, are you ready for us?
Allah.
Hmm. The questions are up. We're not seeing. No, we want to see in the chat. Please post in the comment. Post the questions in the comment. So post it one by one in the comment. Post the first question for Bilkis as a comment in our streaming here, and let us know if that's proving to be a challenge. Let's see.
We saw your note. Okay, there it goes.
Yes.
Hey, God.
Yeah, Bilikis, this is for you.
Hello.
Which 17th century queen, hey, of Ndongo?
Why do we even have to go? Why do we have to go that far? Why?
But she has given you options here.
That is helpful, at least. I'm reading the question.
So, Joy, you can definitely put the next questions if so that we don't have to wait, and you can separate the answers by commas so that we.
Which 17th century queen of Ndongo and Matamba famously negotiated peace treaty with?
Where does Joy get all these questions from?
I don't know. So I know it's not Queen Amina, but all of these other names, I'm just like, okay, where did they come from? Hey.
Yeah, so the audience, if you are listening, please help Dr.
Which
Bilikis.
17th century queen of Ndongo? I feel like I need to call I need to go different.
We don't even know where that is. Let's even start from the fact that
why is it 17th century? Why do we have to go back that far? That's number one. Number two, what is Ndongo and Matamba? I'm sorry, you.
And I'm showing the question
I can do what's it called? I can do a you there, as we say.
Mini, money move. Father has a donkey. Donkey dies, father dies. Mini, money move.
I know by elimination it's not Queen Amina. At least I'm familiar with that story. So I would say Queen Zinga. Just because
she says Queen Zinga. Joy, is she correct? Yes or no? Is it Queen Zinga? Hey. Joy, is she
over my face?
Let us see. Oh, yes, yay! Okay, 1 point for you. Let's now go to the next question, and that question will go to Kike. Kike, Nana Asmau was the daughter of the founder of Sokoto Caliphate. What was her primary professional contribution to society?
I don't even know what's problem. Okay, do I have options?
Yes, the options are there. She's saying establishing a network of female educators called the Yantaru, diplomatic envoy to Europe, warrior leadership. Let me see if I can share.
Merchant trading. Yeah.
Merchant trading. So these are your options.
I don't even know it. I won't even lie.
Who is going to help us? So
maybe I should guess.
Yes.
Maybe I'll just choose diplomatic. I'm not sure. I'm just.
She says diplomatic envoy to Europe. That's not the one I'll choose. But Joy, is she correct? She says you're wrong.
I'm wrong. Okay, you're wrong. Okay, so what's the correct answer?
What's the correct answer? I think I know it's this one. The truth is that Joy gives me these questions before the program, and I try to answer them without looking at the answers that she gives me, and I'm like, really, where does she get this from? Joy, what's the correct answer?
Impossible.
While we wait for Joy to confirm what the correct answer is, yes, establishing a network of female educators
around education. Good. That is great. Yeah.
So we're going to go to question number 3, and that question is going to go to you, Linda. Which South African labor activist, a member of the ANC Women's League, was instrumental in the 1956 Women's March against past laws? So the options are.
Hey.
Joy does not know that at the moment that we are fighting with South Africa.
I think I still Veronica, but I know she was a musician. So but she could have been an activist too. Well, I will just go for, I'm guessing, Winnie Mandela.
She says Winnie Mandela. Joy, what is your verdict? She says Winnie Mandela. Hey. Joy says,
What
ha.
was the answer?
Joy says is Lillian Ngoyi. Ah,
Okay.
Nangoy.
I've never even
Oh, okay. I've never even heard that name before. But
You have to know it before you know what they do.
So,
have you?
I'm going to change up how we since Bilikis is the leader now.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
Leader, I'm going to change how we answer these questions. All of you have a chance to give your answers to
oh,
every question that I put up now.
okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you both should think about it. Then look at this question. Then I will ask you for your answer in a minute.
Mhm.
Wait.
This is an answer to
A
the
question.
previous
Yes.
question. Yeah.
Yes. So let's go to question number 4.
Yeah. Can you spotlight question number 4? Yeah.
Yes, let's go to question number 5. Question number
5.
Okay.
Yes.
The history of the Oh, yeah.
So here you read the question. Let me now spotlight the Aday's mail says, I know number 5. Oh, don't fall my hand. Okay. Oh, wait.
Where are the options?
Linda, you have ties to Benin.
Yes, so that's my. What are the options? Oh, okay. I see them. More Queen and Oprah. Oh, okay.
Who is going first?
Queen India.
So I'm going to ask Bilikis, you're going first since you are the current champion.
Yeah, right. I think Miss Linda just mentioned right?
Queen India.
And because you already led with the fact that she has ties with Benin,
Chipe, you want to change your answer?
I am changing my answer.
I get the expo.
You know the thing for me is that the answer is very obvious.
Yep.
What's your answer?
So I'll go for Queen India.
Yeah. Okay. Joy.
My
Oh, she already
consent.
wrote it. That's correct.
Queen India is correct. Okay.
Yeah.
They are from Ife and Lagos. So it was going to be.
I've only been to Benin, I think, once.
Oh wow! So we're going to take we'll take one question 6, and then we'll save the rest of the questions for when we meet up later in the evening for Rise by She-EOs. So question 6 is I'm showing that who was the first Black woman to serve as the High Court judge in Botswana, later becoming an international human rights advocate. The options are coming right up. Really, where does Joy get these questions from? I really
names. I'm like,
seriously.
I can't even to even pronounce them. Hey. God.
Are you ready? The people in the audience, they're not even helping you. They're not helping you. Why they're not helping you? I don't understand. Why are they not helping you? I don't want to get of this call. Why is she not helping? At least Mrs. Egbemi helped with one question.
One of them, right?
Yes. Even the people that they're not your real friends.
Ogolo.
So this time around, Kike will go first.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll go for Pelonomi. Pelonomi. I hope I'm correct.
Pelonomi Benson. Moi.
Yeah.
Moi.
In fact, it's just a guess.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're going to go to who is next. Oh yeah, who is next?
Oh yeah,
Lina Maholo, maybe.
We're going to be all over. We're going to be all over the map here.
Yes, so that doesn't sound. I don't know, and that might just be the right answer, but it just didn't appeal to me. So we'll do Lina Maholo.
Okay, Linda, are you going to choose?
Me, I will choose Bogolo Kenewendo.
Hey, what's up?
That's
I
that
just like
name.
this one of that day.
Very
Joy.
spicy.
Bogolo.
Ah, Oton. You
It
people,
has now finished. Unity down is the right answer.
Ah, nobody got it.
no, you people passed the first person and just left.
No, wow.
The name
No
didn't
problem.
sound like an African name now.
Exactly.
Unity.
Ah, I should have known.
You see? Ah, the failure. Okay. Thank you. Bomi Salami. Ah, Bomi Salami.
It'll be you on the hot
Bomi,
seat next.
you know, I think this is a good segue. Because Bomi Salami, if it's the same person I'm thinking, she turned 50 and she had a party in Toronto last weekend, which I attended. If you're on my WhatsApp, you probably saw me. And I was just hey, in fact, first of all, the thing the party revealed to me is how I want to have a 50th birthday party. I was not sure I want to have a party, but when I went to that party, I said, I myself, I want to have a 50th birthday party. The second thing it revealed to me was that I'm no longer 30 years old.
Mm.
And I'm not 40 either. Because of that party, and because I started a new job the very next day after I got back,
No.
I entered this week like a zombie.
Mm.
I was like, my head was aching. So this morning, immediately the nanny resumed, I just switched off my phone and slept.
Mm.
I was supposed to have a meeting with She-EO team.
think,
I said no.
After all of that dancing.
No way.
Because I'm no longer, I used to be able to dance and just like, yeah, I could dance like a professional dancer and go to work the next day, but man. But one thing I also saw in the party, to be on, is the beauty of the family that love brings to us. One of the people that I saw in Falabomi's party is her sister's mother-in-law.
Okay.
So not her own mother-in-law, her sister's mother-in-law. Then I also saw her sister-in-law. You know, I saw so many people who were there as family related by love, by marriage. And that made me so happy. Because we often say in our culture that marriage is, not between two people, but between two families.
That's right.
And Yoruba people say that a bad spouse is easy, but a bad in-law is horrible. In-laws are horrible. And sometimes these bad in-laws are the ones who further break the roads.
That's right.
So what I want to ask you guys to tell us in 1 minute, I'm going to start from you, Linda, and I will go to Kike, and then I will go to my co-host, Bilikis, is what road have you navigated? What pothole? Don't tell us what you did with it, but what pothole, what difficult road have you navigated on this journey of love?
It's so interesting you talked about family, because I will take it back to the foundation. The broken road was the sickness and eventual death of my father, who was my everything.
We're going to come back to that because that sounds deep already.
Yeah.
So for me, the broken road for me was when I had my last child, the only boy I have. So, yes.
Wow, we're going to talk about that. Bilikis.
I've thought about maybe a few things. I don't know. We don't have the time for it, but I think one of the, just going along with the question that you had, was living with my ex-mother-in-law.
Ooh, okay. We're going to need some tea for that one.
Yeah, that was.
You know, what I was talking to a member of my new team at work, and I just wanted to get to know everybody on the team. So I was in one-on-ones with all of them on Thursday, and one of them is Indian. And we started talking about, from finance, we started talking about arranged marriages and extended family living situations. And it was very interesting how similar they are culturally, Indians, with us.
Yep.
When it comes to that family involvement and how, these extended things are. But Linda, let's talk about, you bring up a very good point, because I wonder, it might look unrelated, but your father is not your husband,
Mm,
but somehow your father's sickness and death
yeah,
was a pothole in your
yeah,
relationship. Tell us more.
yeah. So, it was a difficult road, and I think what made it even more difficult was the the manner of death and how it started, the progression. My father was a very sharp guy, smart, Dr. B, as he was, referred to. Very loved, very articulate. He was just the guy. So to watch him suffer from dementia
Hmm.
and see how that took him from this guy, this man who knew everything basically, to someone who couldn't even remember me, his children. It was the hardest thing. And I'm telling you this, and maybe I hope some of my family are here, because some of the things I'm going to even talk about now, I've never shared with anyone. It was so painful. A lot of people still don't even know it really what happened, because it came, it was so quick and he was gone. But being the one here, who was his primary caregiver at one point, and then making the very tough decision, which our people honestly will always judge you for, putting him in a home as a last resort, because it almost killed me and my family, my ex-husband. He tried. We all tried. But with me, my kids were much younger then. It was a trying and difficult period. I promise you, at one point, I really almost just wanted to walk away, like just leave everybody and just disappear. It was that hard. When this dementia started, we've never dealt with this before. So I didn't know what was going on. And God rest my dad's soul. When it started, the things he started doing, we started even being mad at him. We were, very, very vocal towards him. We thought he was acting out, being difficult. My mom is paralyzed. He had also been here with her, taking care of her. So now I have my mom on one hand with her own physical and health issues that we have all been dealing with. And then all of a sudden, my dad comes into play. And then he starts doing things that we couldn't even understand. And we at first we thought, oh, this man is just being difficult. He's not doing this, he's not doing that. He's becoming very inappropriate.
Hmm.
It was difficult. And then eventually we realized with his doctor's help that this was onset of dementia, and it got worse so quickly right in front of us. I would have, he was living with me at this point because he couldn't leave. Him and my mom were living in a condo together. But when this thing progressed, I had to bring him into my own house with my husband and kids at the time. And it was hard. We couldn't get any caregivers to stay. They
Hmm.
will come, they're gone every day. Now, mind you, I have a full-time job and I have the children. It got to a point nobody could stay with him. Hey, I don't want to go into too much details, but it became very difficult. So at the end of the day, I would be the one. When everybody disappears, nobody could deal with him. I had to do it. I would be cleaning him up, doing all the manual labor you can think of. And here, with children too, that I still had to take care of. But this was my dad, and it was difficult. It
Hmm.
was difficult just seeing him, the health and everything. It got to a point. we were advised he needs to be in a place where they can take care of him, because you can't keep on dealing with caregivers not coming. Everybody comes one day, they run away, they can't deal with him. And so that broke me. And I think in hindsight, sometimes I'm laying in bed at night and I'm thinking about everything, and everything is coming to me clearer. And I'm thinking, I think with everything happening at that time, it also affected my marriage. Because like I said, with everything going on, honestly, I now got to a point where I was looking at my ex-husband now and my dad as the enemy,
Yeah.
because I was suffering so much.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to anybody. Nobody understood anything, even my siblings. And me and my siblings are very close. We are, my thankful to my parents. They raised a great family, a great foundation. But they were all in different parts of the world. I will talk to them. We'll get on video calls, but they weren't there. They weren't there to really see the issues, the grit, the back end story, and it broke me. It broke everything, and eventually he passed on. And even worse, I had just traveled to Atlanta the day before. So it was from Atlanta. The doctor was calling me. Your dad is here. I'm trying to resuscitate him. He's going in. Imagine. I mean, and I can't do anything.
Mm.
I'm thousands of miles away. I was in my hotel room talking with the doctor, and he's telling me your dad is going.
Mm.
Ah,
Mm.
I said the first time in my life. Usually, when he had to be rushed, to ER, it would be me. I'm the
Mhm.
one that will rush there, go and stay there with him. I was always there. And then the one time he was leaving this earth, I couldn't be there.
Mm.
Whew, that
Mm.
was that broke me. It broke me so hard. Till this day, sometimes I'm laying in bed, I'm just crying, I'm weeping, remembering him, remembering his struggles and
Mm.
everything. But thankful that his legacy lives on.
Mm.
He raised a great family, him and my mom. They always put love before everything else. So anytime I hear people talk about love, the family, I'm thankful, even through it all, he did right by us. Let me put it like that. He did right by us, and I'll always be eternally grateful for him as my dad, my mom. My mom is still alive, thank God. But yeah, that was the thing, that was the broken road, and we're still healing. All of us, we're still
Yeah.
healing from it.
It's like your story, honestly, I knew when your dad passed, but I did not even know that
Mm,
he had dementia.
yep.
And for me, this is something that I was not expecting to hear
Mm,
because I had my mom for 8 months.
mm,
That thing you said about your siblings, they care, they put money, they do all these things, but they're not here.
yeah.
They're not the ones who are dealing with caregivers who are going crazy.
Mm.
I had 7 caregivers in 8 months,
Ah,
and there
ah,
were times I was without any caregiver.
you, you,
I-
you, you
And
understand it.
and it's such a wicked disease.
Ah, very wicked.
It's such a wicked disease, and I think
People don't know.
no, it's a very wicked disease. It's very wicked.
Mm,
It's just, I know there are brutal diseases that we don't pray for, cancer and the likes.
yeah,
Dementia is in a class of its own
it is.
in terms of wickedness. And the when I look back now, what saved me
Mm,
was a group on Facebook that has almost 70,000 members. It's called
mm,
Dementia Caregivers. It's a private group,
yeah,
but that group truly saved me from going from
yeah.
just like you said, just walking away and just it's
Listening.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
And
insane.
and I love what you know. I so glad that you mentioned the community and the need to have people who are going through the same thing. I think that is very, very essential, just so that you don't
Yes.
lose your mental capability, because caring for young children is already, I mean, is already something. To then add a layer of caring for parents
Mm.
who in this case also are not themselves enough to even care. Like there is a difference between caring for an elderly person who still has their, who still has a bit some health with them. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like something is being stolen from you.
That's
So
exactly what I just put on
it's
the movie.
very, very, very
Yeah.
important to have that support network.
Support.
And I love that the doctor gave you the advice around, there's sometimes a feeling, especially with us, there's this two extremes about taking care of our loved ones. There are those who, at the immediate time of any need, they are ready to put their parents in a facility or some
Mm.
other place. And on this other spectrum is on the other end of the spectrum is us who are like, oh, I must see this to the end. Like I have to carry this weight and I have to make sure that I'm there for them.
Mm.
We can't be on those two extremes. We have to figure out what is the situation that we're working with and navigate what is the best way to go about this. And I love that the doctor advised you that you should find a facility where they can actually take care of him. And I know that's another longer story, because we
Mm.
also know of all of the stories that happen in some of those facilities and how that works. But
Hmm.
it takes someone who is alive, well, sane, I would even say, to be able to support another person.
Mm.
And that is one key aspect that sometimes is missing in that equation. I'm so sorry to hear about that for you, but I'm glad that you were able to navigate it in the best ways that you can.
And I'm also glad that, in the midst of it all, you got two gifts. One gift to
Mm.
take care of your dad.
Mhm.
The second gift is that you didn't like I was there when my mom died. So I want to say that's a blessing. But I also think that there might have been something about you not being there
Mm.
to watch him struggle
Mm.
and you being helpless.
Hmm.
Because you might feel bad now, but for you, who was the one who was making all of the decisions, who was rushing him to the ER, who seemingly, had some power to help him feel better, to be there and you could not do anything,
Mm.
I think that might have broken you more.
Mm.
Yeah, perspectives,
Yeah,
huh?
right.
Yeah.
Perspective, right?
I think it would have broken you more because you
Honestly.
cannot do anything. You are just there, seemingly
Mm.
useless.
Mm.
Like that could have broken you more. And I just want to say thank you for all that you did for your dad, and I hope that everything that was stolen from you gets restored. But I
Mm.
want to go. I'm going to go to you, Bilkis, because this is a related story. There's a parent figure involved
Mm.
in the broken road here. You're living with your ex mother-in-law. Whoa, tell me about that.
It's a thing of the movies, but I would have to tactically answer some of the questions, because I don't think I'm even ready to share the full
Mm,
like details of all of this. But you can start to imagine when the person that you actually met before meeting so I met my ex-mother-in-law before meeting my ex-husband, which is
mm,
very interesting.
wow.
And it went from this person who had taken as, oh, this is someone who can actually be like a mom to me, and was really supportive. I was in my final year, about ending my medical school at the time. And so it was oh, your husband is not in the country, you guys are going to get married, he's going to go back to finish his studies. Instead of having to stay in Luth by yourself, why don't you just come and stay in the place next to me. It's not, you're gonna have your own space. It's not gonna be in the main house. Like there were all of the different buttering up about what the setup was going to be. And also the cultural pieces around, oh, newly married person, you don't want to be by yourself. Culturally, you should be with family.
Yeah.
And since your husband is not here, like there was just a whole lot of layers of reasoning around why this was a great idea. And it went from the mom who I was looking at as this is my mom, to someone who it then became really hard for me to even figure out if I have any agency to make any decisions by myself. So timing of food, when I can go to rest, how I can like relate. There was just a whole lot of stories around that. And then it got to the point where I started questioning myself as someone who's been through medical school, who is a doctor, who is doing my house job. And then now being in a position where I can't even make certain decisions by myself. It became very straining. And there's always that thing that they say about familiarity, right? So there is the type of relationship that you might have with someone when you don't really get to be in that close proximity with them. There is a certain distance that this is the four part series. Honestly, I'm not ready. You are not ready to even hear all of the food gist. But it's just one of those parts where I kind of lost myself in that relationship, in that period of time, until I was able to say, okay, you know what, this is not working. And then goodness, by that time my ex had come back and we were leaving. Like that was the only thing that I was ready to even have a conversation about. Like, we are leaving and we have to figure out how we want to actually make this marriage actually work, rather than having it be in this trade piece. Again, I'm telling the story from those two sides, about where there was the love, where there was the attention, the support, and the rationale behind, okay, this is something that is going to be good for you all, to this extreme where it became really, really hard to be a full human. Even though I was a doctor, even though I was I'm a human being. Let's just even start from there. That should have an agency, and be able to say, here is what I want to do, or this is how I want to live it, and and be sure that you have someone who can relate to that. But it was until we left before I could pick myself up from the ground again. It was really hard.
The thing that as you were talking, the thing that just came to my mind was, it's not about the kind of in-law that I have. It's the kind of in-law I have to be. And the kind of in-law I must never be. That I must never be. Like, because sometimes, it's just like our coming to America story. There are people who came to America, they suffered, they struggled. And when other people then come to America, they're like, well, if I suffered and I struggle, you too, you have to suffer and struggle. I don't have to help you. Unlike the way I see it is, you know what? I came to America, I struggled to get a job. Now I'm going to prioritize somebody who is on OPT over somebody who has a US passport when I want to hire, just because this is what I went through. And I know that they have a harder time. So it's the same thing about being an in-law. And I think I'm not a mother-in-law yet, but one of the things that brought me a lot of joy once was one day when my sister-in-law said something to my brother. She said, in calling his bluff, she said, you can tell me to leave. If you tell me to leave, I'll live with your sisters. They'll take me. That made me happy. For her to tell him that tell me to leave. Your sisters will take me.
Absolutely.
That made me happy, because that was something that my mother never got from her in-laws. That mother, well, may God be merciful to her.
Me.
And his sisters, may God help them. Were horrible to my mom.
Yeah, I can relate.
They were just witches, and from the wild part of the hell. Like, and for me, I've always said that must never be me. Because you are somebody else's child. You exactly. Too, you are somebody else's, I was watching one Nollywood movie yesterday night, and Nollywood movie, one girl was breaking up with this guy who was in love with his best friend, and he did not know. And the girl that was breaking up, the fiancé that was breaking up, said, I also want to be somebody's favorite person on earth. And that's what we have to realize, that this person that you are maltreating, this person that you are trying to take their agency away, this person that you are trying to make feel like less than, is somebody else's child, is somebody else's favorite person. But I don't want to like
We
this.
won't,
Yeah,
we won't say too much.
this is
But I love that, because again, in every experience, I always say it's either a blessing or a lesson. And
yeah.
that lesson can be, is this how you want to behave to others, or what is the thing that others can learn from your story eventually? So that's one of the things. Yep.
Amen. Amen. Like I said, this is going to be a 4-part story. We've just started. We
We
have
can
just
we can do more.
we're definitely coming back for this, but I want to hear from you, Kike, because and I don't want to preempt the story that you want to say, you want to share. But I remember when I asked you why you do your advocacy for women, pregnant women and children, you told me this just incredible story. And I don't know if that story is related to the one you're about to share, but if it is, honestly, I cannot wait for people to hear it. You said your broken road that you had to navigate was, your last child, your only boy. Can you share more about that?
Okay. So, like I said, was when I gave birth to my last child. Of course, it's supposed to be a thing of joy, celebration. But unfortunately, days after, when we got back home from the hospital, I think it was 3 days after, he was sleeping at that time. I didn't give birth to him in Nigeria, it was in the US. So he was sleeping at that time. And I remember it was on a Sunday. My elder brother, who is a medical doctor, was around that time. So we were just two at home. And by the time I got to where he was sleeping, because he slept like an hour and more, you know how newborn, they sleep for a long time. So you are just assumed that, oh, well, he's just sleeping, let me just go and check up on him. By the time I got there, a light-skinned boy had already started turning blue, finding it difficult to breathe. He was crying, but it wasn't so loud. I shouted, I screamed. I had to call my brother. That was the only thing that saved me, because my elder brother was around. And when he got there, he said, no, we have to quickly go to the hospital. I was shaky. He said, no, you know how doctors are. They will calm you as if nothing was happening. So we went straight to the hospital. When we got there, immediately they placed him on oxygen. About 2 hours, he got stabled, and we got transferred to intensive care unit. When we got to intensive care unit, different specialists were coming in, different specialists poking him on the head, I was just like, God. The second day, same thing. I was alone with him at the intensive care unit, and I said, God. Imagine you seeing your newborn as in helpless, and there's nothing you really can do. You can only pray, hope, but there's nothing you can do. I told God, I said, God, if you save this child for me, because I wanted something to happen. If you save this child for me, I'm going to be saving lives. I'm going to be saving children. I'm going to be saving babies. I was just saying it. By the way, I didn't mean it. I just wanted something to happen, Third day, they were still coming. Fourth day, fifth day. They did series of tests. And nothing was found, right? And the doctor came to us and told us that they were going to transfer us to a normal ward, because of course we at the intensive care unit was getting better. And if we were going to go home, I think we're going home like 2 days after, that we need to get a monitor machine so that they place on his body, so that when the thing occurs, there's an alarm that will trigger and all of that. $5,000. I said, what? We don't have the money. We just came to this place for passport and want to run back home. That's so. And they said, oh, no problem. You know how Americans are, no problem. If you have them, we'll wait for it. When you get the money, then we'll discharge you. They were not allowed. They were not ready for us to go home without the monitor. So fast forward to when we're at the ward. Second day, 2 people came in. Till now, I don't know the name of the charity organization. They said they were from a charity organization that they go to different wards if we need any help. I said, we need help. This is what they were told to get, and we don't have the funds for it and all of that. So it was just a phone call and a form to fill, and we got the monitor for free. And that was when I started thinking that, wait, I had a covenant. I don't know if I'd mentioned the covenant at the second day, that I was going to be taking care of children, I was going to do this. And these people came in and they gave me this for free. And I started thinking to myself that, okay, I could do something like charity. I had not figured it out at that time, but I was just asking myself, what about other mothers who don't even have the funds, the knowledge, the support I had? I started asking myself, and let me now fast forward to when we got the help. When we got home, I started dreaming about saving the lives of children, about, and I hear Christians say calling, calling, calling. Honestly, I didn't believe the calling thing until that period, 2019, when 2018, when I had my child, when I got back home, and I started thinking about, okay, I have to do this. At that time, the dream were real. Everything, it was, there was no point for an alpha or pastor to tell me that this is what you're supposed to do. In short, my broken road led me to my purpose. And I started. There are few steps I took. It was few days to my birthday at that time. My husband is a lawyer, and he asked me what I wanted for my birthday gift. I said I want a non-profit organization registered. He said, are you sure? You're going to be out there. You're going to face people. You're very shy. I said I was ready. I wasn't ready at that time, and that was 2018. 2019, I left. I had my background is in HR. I was working on HR, in a private organization before I left to have my baby. Everything, I shifted it to one side and I started the non-profit organization, the Step for Change Mother and Newborn Foundation. That was 2019. From 2019 to date, we have done a lot. We've impacted more than 7,000 lives, saving the lives of children, mothers, paying hospital bills, tackling malnutrition. A lot has been done in 7 years. And I can say that my pain turned to purpose. It brought me to what I am doing right now. And yes, that's my own broken road that led me to my purpose.
So, the three of you have shared very, very distinct experiences, and the three things that you've shared has not been, if somebody heard the question about how a broken road impacted, what was your broken road? You think, okay, if we're talking about love and romantic relation, maybe my husband cheated, maybe my husband had a child outside, maybe this, maybe that. No, but there has been my father, there has been my mother-in-law who I knew before, there has been my child and my calling. And now I'm going to ask you a question. And this question, I want you to pause, and then answer. These broken roads that you've all described, how did it turn on or turn off the light switch in your marriages? How did it turn on or turn off the light switch in your marriages? While you're thinking about this, I'll just share that in 2010, I've been on too many Jangrova roads, too many broken roads. I can't even count. But in 2010, I was organizing a Christmas party in Lagos for children in orphanages. I was in the US. I was 26 and a half weeks pregnant. And I went to a routine ultrasound and heard that the baby had died. That broken road is what led me eventually to leave my marriage at the time. Because, at first I was like, okay, maybe I should try for another child. But then I later began to see it as a way of God extricating me from that marriage, which had been abusive up till that point. So that broken road turned off, the thing. It then became, you need to leave. But for you all, I want to know how your broken road that you shared impacted the love and the commitment in the unions that you were at that time. And I'm going to start with you, Bilikis. And I'm aware that we are almost out of time, but we need to talk about this. So, Bilikis.
So very quickly, I think that experience was maybe one of the foundations for why I am saying that that is an ex relationship at this point. Because and startup, you know this as well. When it became really hard in the marriage, it was really it was really hard for transparency and for um, the support that is needed with the acknowledgement that this other person, I like how you framed it earlier, that like this other person is actually a child of someone else. My mom was still alive then, but I still got this type of treatment, which was just terrible. We eventually left that house, but that broke the relationship between, it really, really broke the relationship to the point where she didn't even want to come to the house that we moved to after we left the house. And when I got pregnant, she literally came to the door. She stopped at the door and didn't even come into the house. Like it was layers upon layers. And when my ex finally did the thing that unwound the marriage, it became really, really hard for a contribution where it would have been the part where she probably would have played the role of a mediator or someone. It just never came through. And I kept seeing myself as just that other, that person that just didn't really count in the perspective of what what the family was or who they are. And the biggest part of it was, um, I was called when in postpartum that someone was pregnant for for my husband, my ex, and that just broke all of the table that would have
Sorry,
existed.
I'm
And like I
laughing.
said again,
I'm
I
sorry.
know I'm not ready to share, but
I'm sorry, I'm
some parts of
laughing.
these conversations that it's just very important. Like there's some things that would happen, and if you had a solid foundation to actually deal with trouble or with whether it was a mistake, whether it wasn't, I don't even want to like flip the switch or turn the pages around that. But I think if the foundation was stronger, maybe there would have been an opportunity for that not to even happen or for a remedy to have been possible. But that was the road that actually I think was foundational to why that experience is now an X rather than something that is existing
You know what you said is making me ask a question, put a question in the
today.
and this is a question. If you're listening, if you're in the audience, I want to hear your thoughts about this. Can women get over infidelity? I really want to know.
Hey, get over.
Yes, I really want to know because they. I know things are situational, like there's context, there's this, there's that, but I just wonder, is it like does getting over infidelity mean, oh, you know what, I'm going to just erase that somebody got pregnant from my husband postpartum bullshit and say and rewind to where we were before, or I'm going to stay there and remember that somebody did this, and then I would go check his phone every day to be sure that there is no other somebody, or I'm going to ask the woman to come into our house so that we live as one big happy. Like, I really want to know. If you're listening, please tell me, can women really get over infidelity? I want to know, are days male, can women really get over infidelity? And if you know how, please share your your wise counsel. Let's go to you, Kike. How did your very, very, very consequential, moment switch on or switch off?
Okay, so initially when I started, he wasn't in supportive. Um, he didn't support, right? And when he saw the passion, I mean, I didn't care. I was just going. I kept going, and I remember one day, two of in different days, two of his friends said, "I like what your wife is doing." Different people. I like what your wife is doing. This is so amazing, And the particular man said, That's why your finances have changed. That's why all of these things are happening to you. Things are getting better. Can't you see? Don't you see it?
Mm.
It was later he told me. And the
Hmm.
second person said the same thing. Like, people keep commending, like, I love what your wife. And he didn't see it until when he started, like, okay, hearing different people talk about it. And he
Mhm.
started supporting. I could remember there's one bus that I usually use. Whenever I use the bus and probably I don't fuel it, or you'll be like, no, 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 you can't be using that. Now, that bus is for stay for change. We
Hmm.
use it. I mean, it literally handed it over, So he's my number one support system now. So yes, I think I support him now.
Hmm.
That's good.
You
Awesome.
know, first of all, I hope you guys are seeing the responses to
Yeah.
to the questions in the chat. Well, there's one, and I don't want to go into the whole tangent of Muslims and polygamy and stuff, but I always tell people that polygamy is different,
It's not an excuse now.
and it's different from infidelity. Please, nobody
Yeah,
should be telling me that.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
And
remember
along
one
with.
time I was young and I told somebody, I was very, very young. I was less than 20, and I told somebody whose husband had married another wife, and this woman just fell apart. And I said, which part of this is a problem for you? You are Yoruba and you are Muslim. Which part of it is the problem? And now when I look back, 30 years after, I'm like, you were such an idiot. You're such an idiot. Like, what are you saying? You don't know which equity these women have staked. These women have staked, these women have done, and you are here telling her that what part of this is the point for you. When you come from this very young, childish part. But before I go to Linda, I want to say something. I want to answer this question about which switching on and switching off. I always say to myself in my quiet moments that I want to know any woman who has not looked at her husband and thought, maybe if I kill him, I will not go to jail. Maybe maybe he has a sleeping like this. If I just kill him, maybe God can just forgive me. And I always think about this when my husband is being so annoying. And this is particularly difficult for me, whose husband is supposed to be a nice person. And the only reason why I've not killed him at this time is because he took care of my mom when my mom had dementia. And then secondly, he had two children before we married. And he was never going to have other children. But because I wanted to have, kids, I didn't have any. He went to heaven and earth for me. And when my child was in NICU, Kike, when you were talking about NICU, when my child was in NICU, and one day my child literally died. Like she literally, like the because you're a doctor, you know this. Her stats just went down. Her heart rate was 9. Saturation was like insane. And I
Yeah.
saw that monitor up like this, and I just fainted.
Hmm.
Mm.
The thing I remember coming to was nurses and doctors were hitting me, giving me ice, putting ice in my mouth. But there was somebody that was tapping me on my back. It was my husband.
Hmm.
He was just tapping me, tapping me, tapping me. And every time he's annoying, like really annoying, like really annoying. I mean annoying. Annoying as in he was supposed
Those
to
are
pick
the
me up from the
moments.
airport when I
Yeah,
came back from Toronto
yeah,
at
yeah.
11 p.m. At the night, and he slept off. Yes, that annoying. And I feel like I should just kill this man right now. But I'm like, this is the person that
Yes.
was there.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
because of that, today he has a past. Today. I don't know about tomorrow. But Linda,
You, you are a riot, talk me. No, oh my God, that is too funny because we can all relate. Trust me, 100%. But as I had earlier alluded to be honest, when I was going through my dad, his sickness, and when it was really, really difficult, we were already, unfortunately, already like on the path of separation. So I won't say his illness caused it, obviously not. you all know marriage and everything
Hey.
you go through. Yeah. So we were already on that path. I think it sped it, probably sped it up a little, because at that point I was done. I had nothing left in me to give, and I was like, you know what, I've done too much. This isn't working. We both know it ain't working. We just have to let it go. So but I will say, we hear a lot of horrible stories. I'm thankful that through it all, even though me and my ex-husband had a whole different set of issues, till this day we've remained cordial. He is a great guy, a great father. Oh my God. I say every day, if I die tomorrow, I die happy, because I have children with a man that is the ultimate father figure. His children, they know. And that's why I would never use my mouth and say anything horrible about him, because he truly has stood he as a man of his word, and I will never take that away. Through it all, even though we had our own different set of issues, it's just unfortunate we had to let it go. But thankful for it all. Thankful.
There's such wisdom in what you said, because it took me a while to be able to separate the man that was my dad and the man that was the husband to my mom. It took me a long time. And before I was able to make that separation, I was always conflicted.
Yep.
I was always conflicted. How I felt about him depended on what was going on at that particular point in time. But since I made that separation, I am like, you know what? My dad, I called my dad once and I said, Dad, in this life, I have to buy a private jet. He said, of course you will buy a private jet. Like, he will tell me that I could do anything. Like, my dad believed I could do anything. Like, he was just the best dad. I came back from school when I was maybe 11 or 12. And I said, some people in my school were talking about satellite dish. We have to have satellite dish. I didn't care whether this man had money or not. The mast that my dad bought that holiday, the mast is not for NTA. It's for NTA. It's not small satellite dish, you're big. For him, it was like he wanted his children to have the best of the best. But my dad and my mom, especially because of external factors, which we now see, like, we've talked now, and nobody has really talked about, even Bilikis, whose husband decided to be unfortunate with himself. Even that, the beginning of the broken road was not the fact that somebody was pregnant for him. No, the beginning was an external factor. We've seen how important and how important it is to draw boundaries, and that's something that a lot of men cannot draw boundaries. They can't draw boundaries. They can't. When I got married the first time, I was already old. I was 32. But when I got married the second time, I was 40. People, one day, one of my in-laws, who is very, very old, much older than me, she said something to me, and I said, no. And she tried to report me to my husband, and I was like, are we playing here? I'm not something years old, and I don't really need your approval. But
that's right.
And my husband was able to draw the boundary. Boom. He was like, no, don't do that to my wife. Don't say that to my wife. But even if he didn't draw that line, I was already drawing it by myself. Because that's something that a lot of women get oppressed. Really, really, really get oppressed by not the husband alone, but by the people that are surrounding him. Friends, sisters, especially women like us, witches. And it's just really, really, really unfortunate. And mothers, especially mothers who don't know how to draw the boundary. There's a video that I have watched every variation of it, because I really on Instagram. Like, every time I get on Instagram and the explore page, Instagram brings this thing to me. Is this woman who was dancing at her son's wedding? She was wearing a green outfit if you have not seen that woman, please go and find. I think they are Beam or something like that. The woman was wearing a green hat. This woman dance, and I really enjoyed it. But one day as I was watching it, especially I was watching her part of dancing with her son, I said, I hope this woman is able to draw boundaries. And I hope her son is also able to draw boundaries. It's good for you to be close. But where you start to compete, that's where problem comes. Another thing that I want to highlight is somebody asked a question in the chat. Can a man, yes, it was Ade's mail, said, can a man get over infidelity? And I wrote in my notes, I said, Nelson Mandela didn't. Abi, Shebi, his wife stayed while he was in prison for 27 years. And when he came out, he divorced her. And well, what I read is that she was unfaithful.
Yeah.
If somebody would tell this, well, I would maybe, well, he has died now, so I don't know. But Nelson Mandela did it. And then there's a book that has just been made into a play that will come out in Nigeria very soon. The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives. If you haven't read that book, please go read it by Lola Shunei. That book is a riot. But basically, Baba Segi's wives Baba Segi could not have children. He did not know this. His wives, 4 of them, had gone to have children with his driver. But
4.
yes. It's coming out in the theaters in Nigeria in December. You have to watch it. It's just is a riot, like Linda would say. Wow. But I don't think men. Bumi Salami said men can get over infidelity. I don't know. Baba Segi and Mrs. and Nelson Mandela didn't, so we'll see. But yes, Mrs. Agbim, that's the that's the woman's name. I've loved it, but then Dr. Fatima Lawal said something that I really think we should let it sit. It's not an indictment of men, but it is true for the most part. It's true. Most men don't support anything that their wives start until it flourishes and they get benefit from it. Most men, maybe not all, but most of them is like, almost like, what is in it for me? How does it make me look? How, and how can I be the hero of the story? Really? Many people, how can they be the hero of the story? That's what they are looking at. But I think what I'm taking away from this conversation is just the impact of external forces and how many of us women, me especially, we enter marriage or we enter romantic relationships underestimating those forces. Many of us go into a gunfight with a knife, with a pocket knife. Meanwhile, this is like Iran versus US kind of war. No, nobody's standing there with nail cutter. But we're there sitting down like we're Oman. No, we have to also be ready. Not to be ready with anger, but to be ready with emotional preparedness. I remember one of my friends found out one day, she called me. Like I woke up to about 14 missed calls from her and I said, wait, what? So I called her. She said, I just found out that my husband has a child with somebody else. And that child happened to be a year younger than her own child. I said, you know what I would advise you right now? Before your church people come and start giving opinion, please just enter motor and go to Cotonou. She said, well, go to Cotonou first. Just go for the weekend. Just sit down on the beach. Because before people come and start telling you how you should react to something, you have to have settled within your own self as to how you want to react. Because so often these external noises are so big, they become signal blockers. We're not able to have agency and really able to think, am I wanting to forgive? And people are saying, you forgive for what? Why should you forgive? Am I wanting to cut the deal and move? And people are like, decide what you want to do before. Be ready for the signal blockers, for the external factors. I'm going to let you all close us out with one thing that this conversation has brought for you and what you would like, to take away from it. I'm going to start with you, Linda.
Okay, so for me, it actually, like I said too, thank you. It let me talk about some things that I've never talked about with anybody else. Imagine, and I've put it out there. Lovely. No, but the biggest takeaway for me, and I've really been talking to people everywhere. I also joined a few communities of, health dealing with dementia and loss is please, 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 for you all who still have parents who are getting old, if you notice that there's, if you can go read up the diagnosis, symptoms, and everything. If you notice your parent is beginning to have these symptoms, or not even just your parents, in-laws, family members, please don't be shy. Immediately get help. Immediately ask questions. There's so many things that, especially as they told me, his doctors told me, it hits men even worse because now there's so many things they are doing. They become very inappropriate. You don't even want to leave young children in their care. So a lot of people, my parents are here. I want them to take care of my kids. If they're not in the best of health or mental capability, do not leave them with your kids. Seek other types of care or, other alternatives. But watch for the signs, learn the signs, understand the illness and how to deal with it. And don't be shy. Don't let people talk. Do what you know is right. It's very important. Understand the signs. Let me give you an example. Just yesterday, I was watching a video that someone posted, and I could see because I saw the man. It was an older man in a bus. I don't know if any of you saw this video in Nigeria. And the man was touching. There was a young girl right beside him. And he just starts touching her inappropriately, touching her legs. And the girl started shouting, "If now your papa be this, no be say, I just want to be respectful. For don't beat him here." I looked at that video and I saw, and as she's shouting and saying all this, you can see that that man is not stable. Do you know he did? He was just staring. You know that look. He was staring and said, "Oh, that man is dealing with mental issues. This is not a man who did this because he wanted to get some arousal or wanted to be inappropriate." You could see the stare. He didn't know what he probably didn't even know where he was or what he was doing. And it broke me because I said, that is an old man. This man should probably be in somebody's care and not be left roaming around the street. God forbid he does this to the wrong person. They can throw tire on his head and burn him immediately. So this dementia is very serious, and the more people are aware of it, the better it will be for everybody. So that is my biggest takeaway from this that I want people to know about. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Kike?
So for me, I'll say follow your passion, listen to your inner mind. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And the last thing you said about if you hear anything and it's better for you to go to a beach or calm your head down, because I was not even thinking about it until you said it. Just calm down, listen to your mind, listen to yourself, and don't listen to what others will say before you take decision. Yes.
Yeah. You have to hear your own self first before you hear somebody else, no matter how good and how loving they are, because they are not the ones who are there with you. And I'll let you give us your own takeaway.
Yeah, so mine is, and I'm going to keep it very short for each of them, but I have to talk about these three parts. So the first one is about brain health. So you've talked about Alzheimer's disease and how it shows and all of that. But as a women's health advocate, I also want to call the attention of us women, especially because this affects us 3 times more than men. And your brain health is something that you have to be conscious of, and you have to consciously start to work on and be aware of even at these different points in life, especially starting around the perimenopause period. So you want to make sure that you're really paying attention to yourself. There's always the piece around brain fog during perimenopause and all of that. You just need to continue to think about what does brain health really mean to you? What is your baseline, your executive functioning, your memory, and all of that? Just making sure that you're paying attention to that and seeking help as is needed. So that's number one. The second part of it is the complexity of human beings. And, start with what you talked about your dad being the best dad in the world, but then still having faults. I think I've come to terms with that with human beings. Like, they have different aspects. I mentioned something about my husband, but my ex-husband. But the interesting thing is, unlike what was said in the chat earlier, he was very supportive of my wanting to come to the US, for instance, to come and study. It didn't have to do that. We had the conversation even before we started courting, but he kept to his promise around that. And there's some men that would be all of that, and you just have to weigh, you will have to weigh all of the interactions and all of the circumstances that, who is this person to you, and how do you want to deal with those issues that might come up. Marriage is never going to be a smooth sailing, at least in my experiences so far. It's not been a smooth sailing thing. You have to figure out, what do you really want out of this? What do you want to give, and what do you want to get? And that leads me to the third part, which is always protect your sense of self-advocacy. You should take care of your ability to have your own agency, as well as the boundaries that you need to set to be a fully functioning human being in this world. That is, by the time you make the decisions that you take, you can sit down. And I think it was in this book, Seat of the Soul, that I first read about this. Like, sometimes you need to make your own decisions so that you can be fine with whatever consequences would come out of it down the road. And with that, you can have less regrets than you would have otherwise.
Wow, ladies, I wish I could bottle all of this wisdom and put it up for sale. But I just want to say thank you so much. As somebody who has had the double privilege of being in marriage twice, my first marriage and then now this one thing that I have realized that I brought into this marriage that I did not have in the last one is that marriage is indeed a business transaction. There's an exchange of value. When people start saying, oh, marriage is not 50-50, it's true. It's not 50-50. It can be 90-10, but it cannot be 100-0. But most of the time as women, we are programmed to look at it as 100-0. They don't say it in those words, but that's how people really imply it. A woman builds her home. Marriage is what do Muslims say? They say your paradise is at the feet of your husband. I say, Oga, if the feet is crushing me, maybe I need to remove myself so that it can go back to the feet of my mother that is merciful to me and not a man that is killing me. But at the same time, I also think that, marriage is a lot of work, just like entrepreneurship. Business is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But if you're doing work, if you're doing business that you don't like, that you don't believe in, then, what's the point? If the business is not making profit, it's not what you're passionate about. What's the point? When I was leaving when I resigned from my company last week and I joined this company that I'm with now, my boss was like, I told her, I said, one of the things I like about this new company is that the executive function, which I'm joining, is flat. We all report to the board. All 5 of us executive team members report to the board. I don't report to the CEO. And she said, oh, but that's kind of what we do here, sort of. I said, yeah, it's true, but I don't think my calling in life is to help people think about behavior change around plastics and recycling. While that is good, but it's not my calling. But this company I'm going to, they help poor people get access to education. That is my calling. So even if it's hard in this new place I'm going, I know that it is my calling. And that's the same way I now view marriage. If I'm in marriage with somebody that at least one time in a year, I feel like strangling him, if not for my fear of God and I don't want to go to jail, I look, I say, is this person, am I getting any value from this relationship? Is this person good? Is this person kind? That makes the business easier to continue in. But the moment I cannot answer if person is kind, what's the point? You know, and that begins to affect every area of our lives as women, you know. And one last thing I want to say is that if the marriage works for you, it works for you, even if it doesn't work for anybody else. If it doesn't work for you and it works for the rest of the world, it's perhaps worth a rethink. Thank you all so much, the sisters that joined us. Thank you all so much, everybody who joined us in the studio. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.